Uh, my name is Tadeáš Kubu. I hope you can hear me well. I am integration team leader on Mall Marketplace, and I will be your host in today's workshop. Uh, I hope everybody is hearing me well. So let's move forward to what we will be doing and talking about today. Firstly, as my colleague sent you a link in the chat, if you have any questions during this workshop, please send those questions to the Slido as you were asked before. To register there or to go there, please use the link that you already had in your invitations. The link is the same. You can also find the link here in the chat using the chat bubble on top. And also, if you just go to slido.com and use hashtag ONBMP for onboarding marketplace, you can insert your questions there as well. So let's go forward through our presentation. So what will be our schedule today? First, we will have a look at the questions that you sent us before the start of the workshop, and based on those, I created a short presentation for you that we will go through. After that, we will take 5 to 10 minute break, so you can go for a coffee and write your questions down. And after that, we will go through those questions on the platform Slido. After the workshop ends, you will be sent an email in which there will be a questionnaire through which we will very appreciate your feedback. And in that email, you will also find a PDF presentation that we will go through today. So you can come back to it later. And also, after this workshop ends, we will create a recording and upload it to our YouTube channel, so you can go through the event in video version as well. On the right side of the screen, there is information about feedback question. That is very important to us because only based on your feedback, we can improve and do the improvements that will help you the best. So what are the options of feedback that we can ask for you? So first, as I mentioned in the left portion of the slide, we will send you a questionnaire after this workshop. That will be very important to us. Also, what you can do on our knowledge base, you can rate our articles. So if something is helpful to you, please rate 5 stars. If something is not helpful to you or is maybe even confusing, please use the low ratings. We appreciate every version of your feedback, and the negative feedback is the best way to improve. So please send that one as well. What you can also do, if you communicate with some of our departments, after the ticket is solved, or ticket as we call it, you are sent an option to rate how satisfied you were with the solution of your ticket. So you can use the similar rating there as well, and we appreciate that as well. You can also insert a text, a comment, so that we know what you were happy with or what you were not satisfied with. So that is also a good option to use for feedback. And the last one, in your partners portal, on quite frequent basis, you are asked to fill in a survey so that you can give us your general opinion about the functionality and your satisfaction with portal and sales on Mall in general. So we appreciate all of those forms of feedback. But now let's move forward to the questions. And just give me a second, I lost the mouse a bit, so let's go like this. So first of the questions we will be talking about is a question: how can we do an XML import of products in case of manual input? Based on every of the questions, I created a slide that will be talking about the topic more in general. So firstly, let's talk about how you can behave and how you must behave with one of the chosen options of importing of products. First of those is manual input. If you are using manual input for your products, there's only one option how to input products. There is not an option of mass import. You can only import or create the products one by one in our portal using the interface that there is. Couple of months ago, we added an option that might be helpful for you in some cases, and that is copying of products. There you can just use the icon to copy any of the existing products. You can also choose the fields that you want to copy, and only thing you need to change is the ID of products. And if you change your identifier, your ID, you can save that product and save yourself some work if your products are of quite similar fashion, and copying might help you create more of those. So that is one of the options how you can help yourself to create products more easily and faster. The other option is using Molfeed. Molfeed we call a file which is in format XML, and it is available to us under a unique URL, and the feed must be available at all times. That is very important to us, because if the feed is not available at all times, the system, based on the frequency that you set for importing those feeds, might not load properly. So it might cause differences between your data and the data on the web. So the possibility to download the feed at all times is really important. Here it is important to mention, even though it's a file in XML format, it is not possible to upload such file using like one-time import to import products from that file. It is really important so that that file is available through an URL address. You can find more details in our knowledge base with examples of that feed and the structure we require for that feed. So please, if you want to know more details, you can have a look there, and we will be of most assistance if you need any more information about that. And last of the general options for all markets that we have is API. API is a direct connection between your systems and ours, and it goes by the same structure that we have for more feeds for product data. So the documentation is available at all times. We can have a look at it later, but in general, that is always the best connection if you can connect directly, but it is closely connected to your IT capabilities, and if your system allows that. So if you need more consult, please contact either your business contact that you already have on Mall, or look at our knowledge base for more details how to connect the API of Mall partner in the best way. We have even specific article about this. So hopefully this will be most helpful to you. What is also possible, and you can do that, is a combination of connection types, but it is only possible in certain situations. Imagine the product data and order data as two separate flows, and for each of those you can choose its own connection type. So for products, and by products I mean not only product data but also availability, you can choose information on the left. And for orders, you can either work with them manually in the portal. There's a little bonus that you can use, and that is XML import that we provide for you. It is also available through an URL address. And in that export, you can find any order that is in status open. We will talk about statuses later in the presentation, and the data for that order, and it refreshes every, I think, 10 to 15 minutes. So that is a little bonus that you can use to download the orders from our system, but it is only one option how you can automatically work with the orders in your system, and it is connection to orders, our order API via API. But you can at the same time work with products using either manual input, or you can work with products using more XML feed. So those are the options that you can use for these different flows. What can be done on top of that is you can also, since our feeds work in a way that you are sending product data in one feed and availability data in other feed, if your system allows that, you can export product data in the feed and send us your availability information using API. It is an option, and you can do that. So if it's something that you want to, please consult it with your integration or onboarding specialist, as we call it, and they will guide you to help you to send the data in the best possible way. On the right side, I just highlighted a couple of information that cannot be done. It is points 3 and 4. Products cannot be updated via API and XML feed at the same time. Just to expand on this point, basically the mol feed structure or the mol feed frequency of loading would override anything that you would send to the product via API in each of the loadings based on the interval. So basically, if you have the feed loading every 6 hours, and in the meanwhile, you would send, for example, update of any of the text using API, after the 6 hours, the data from the feed would override it. So that's why this combination is not possible. It is also not possible, as I mentioned in the beginning, to use one-time XML import of products. Let's go to next slide. The other question that we had on the slide before the beginning of the event was which data is sent from our server and which data is sent from your server to us. Here, let's separate it into the two flows. First is data we need you to send to us. There are product data. So firstly, product text, title, short and long descriptions. We also need you to send us pictures, prices, and those are the main product information that we need. If we would expand on that, we also need you to send us the correct category of products based on the chosen connection type and other stuff, but these are the main things that we require you to send. When we are not talking about product data, we need you also to send us availability. So in mol or all mutations of our shop in other countries, and we need you to send us the exact number of pieces of product in stock that you have that are available for you to ship if customer orders it. You can also work with the stock in a way that you can, for example, lower it if you are expected that your goods has basically really high turnover. So you know that it sells out quickly. You can lower the stock that you are sending to us so that we prevent that, for example, orders would be created for a product that you have not in stock at that point, because, for example, you know that your frequency of updating the stock is lower than what you what for example the frequency of the orders is. So it is something that that you can work with. And the last thing is we require you to send us, and maybe I will just go a step back and talk about in general. When I am saying that we need you to send us this data, it doesn't necessarily need to be via the XML feed or the API, but all of this data that we are talking about here needs to be either sent through your chosen connection type or inserted in the portal if you are working with it manually. So it doesn't necessarily need to be API. All of this information applies also if you are uploading the products manually. Back to order data. When we are talking about orders, we need you to send us the correct statuses at the correct time. As I mentioned, we will talk about specific statuses later, but what is mandatory for doing orders is to send us tracking information so that the customer knows where the order is and we can work with that information. And what I would highlight here is the delivery date, because based on the delivery, invoice is created. So that is a key information for us, so that we can work with the process later on. About the data that we are sending to you, there is not much of them. But what is important to say at this point is that mol makes all the data available through API for GET API calls. What this means is that we are basically a source for you, and at any given moment that you need, you can look for the information. That information may be available either in the portal or in the API, and you can get it if you are in need of that information about either order or some product. What I would highlight here is that Mall also has an API limiter. That means that for your number of products, there is a limit number of API calls that you can do in a day or even in an hour. So when you are creating an API connection, it is really important to do it properly. As I mentioned before, on our knowledge base, we have an article that goes and guides you through connecting API. So please go through it. I think it might be most helpful for you when doing the API connection. If we are talking about data that we are sending to you, there is one exception for that, and there is webhook. If you are not familiar with webhook, imagine it as a notification about a change in an order. It is only available for orders and for cases when, for example, order changes a status based on an automatic information in our system. You are sent a notification that is specified in our documentation, and you can use it to lower the number of API calls that you need to do to get the information in general from, for example, a list of orders. So that is one of the options what we are sending to you. Let's go further. Next sort of questions or group of questions was about manual input and products. Is it better to insert one variant product or multiple single products? And allow me to drink a bit of water so that you understand me later on. When we are talking about variants and creating variants, the general information is that we want you to create variants when it is possible. Variants are created only based on parameters that are available in category that you have chosen for products. So, for example, as you can see on the print screen on the right side, in fashion, it is most common to create variants based on, for example, size and color. It is possible to create variants only up to using 2 parameters. It is not possible to use more. And if such a situation arises that you need to use more, for that, it is recommended to do more products and less variant products. It is also important here to mention that creating variants is mandatory for certain categories, and that is, for example, fashion and some of the household categories like mattresses. If you ask why, imagine that you are a customer and looking back on the picture of the right on the right, if you were to create, for example, let's still talk about t-shirts, one unique product for each of the variants of the t-shirts. For example, let's imagine that the t-shirt would have 7 colors and 10 sizes. The list on the right wouldn't be 8 different t-shirts, but the list on the right would be 1 t-shirt and the same t-shirt for 70 different fields. So that is not something that we want on the list to have. I think it creates really bad customer experience, and that's why we want you to create as many variant products as possible. But of course, if we are not talking about fashion, but we are talking about let's say coffee machines, and one of them is black and one of them is white, I think the necessity of the product being variant is quite lower than when we are talking about fashion. So here, always when you're talking about this, consult with your integration or onboarding specialist, and based on the number of variants that you have for said product, go with what I just described. The last thing that you can see on the list on the left is multiple products instead of variants are recommended for situations like product lines. What I mean by this is, let's say, and we have this situation in one of the household categories, that one of our partners had a product line that had, for example, a coffee table, a chair, and a lamp that in a product line because they were of the same design, and he wanted to create a variant based on that. So this is something that is not recommended, and for these situations, it is best to create for each of the products a separate product in our system. You cannot see it in the slide, but I would mention it right here, is for situations like this, as I mentioned with the product line, you can always use a feature in the data that we call recommended products. That would mean that if you open one of the products and in the data you marked the other two as recommended under the product list or in the product detail, the other products would show as recommended. So that is something that you can do to connect the other products if they are somehow connected but cannot be used for creating a variant product. So that is something that I would recommend you to have a look at when talking about this. Let's move to next slide. Here we are still talking about products. Why can't I activate products when I created them? How to add video of product into long description. First, let's talk about activation of products. Activation of products is only possible when you have finished the process of integration / onboarding. The process is finished when the onboarding specialist informs you that he has switched your account to production, and based on that, you are allowed to switch your products to live status from draft in your portal. That is also possible to do not only in a portal, but through your XML feed, MOL feed, and API as well. I would highlight here really important piece of information that activation of products is only a one-way street. Once you have activated the product and switched it from draft to live, it is not possible to switch it back. The reason behind it is that this status, active and draft and active, or draft or live, is only there to have, let's say, a two-step verification of uploading products once you are in production, once your account is live, so that any new product that you create after you are switched to production can be first checked by you. You can have a look at it using your Sandbox account, and then you can switch it to live. If you want to take down product from the web, for that purpose, you can use either number of pieces in stock, or there is another field, and this field is different in each of the type of connections, but you can still check the status or change the status of product from active to inactive. And for example, in the API, I think it's called active yes with values yes or no. So that is the option to deactivate a product, but you cannot use the same thing that you have used to switch the product from draft to live. So this is something really important to remember. How you can find out that your account is production if you cannot find the email in your partner's portal. In the menu on the left, select a partner tab, and on the main information, as you can see here on our test company Palma Electro, the blue button in the middle says testing. If it says production, your account is live. If it says content control, it means that your products are currently being checked by our content team and you are close to being on production. And there are other statuses as well, but in general, testing, content control, and production are the three most important to you. And as I mentioned, accounts in stages status is testing, and content control must finish the integration first before they can activate their products. Let's move to the second part of this slide, and that is inserting videos in long description. If we are talking about menu input, if you've chosen that connection type for your input of products, YouTube video can be linked in the long description solely by inserting the link when editing or creating a product. So that is really easy process. You just add the video in the description and it loads on the product page. If you are using MOL feed or API, videos from YouTube can be inserted in the product description, and for that you need to use respective HTML tag or HTML tag, and that is a href for inserting links, as you can see in the example just on the bottom of the screen. What you can see there, and that is really important to us, when you are formatting a text in your descriptions, you always need to use the names of a text is instead of the symbols itself. Here we are talking about the three symbols that are starting the example. So it's and, LT, and semicolon, which is representative of the symbol of the, let's say, sharp one that would start the tag, and the symbol that you can see at the end, which is and GT, and semicolon means the ending of a tag. So when you are using Molfeed or API, please always use those, because only using the symbols themselves would, let's say, break the description. So it might not work. So please, when you are doing this in the description or using any other HTML tag, focus on this so that it loads properly. Last thing that I would say to videos in the description is that only videos from YouTube can be inserted. You cannot just insert a video if you have it, for example, saved on your hard drive. And any links to YouTube must be without parts like emp. It really must be the basic URL as you see on the screen, with the part watch on the link of the video, and basically that's it. So that is the way to insert a video in the long description. Next question that is about invoicing, and in general, if you need more information about invoicing and finances process, please contact your business contact or our colleagues at operations@molgroup.com, or the best possible way, contact us using FAQ or help center in your portal, where you can find quite a lot of helpful information. Because me solely I'm a person responsible for the technical part of cooperation and not for the finance process itself. But to answer it, at least in general, the reason why there needs to be more than one email for invoicing and compensation sheet is that other items need to be added, like cash on delivery and stuff like that. But as I mentioned, if you need to have more details about invoicing process, please consult with your business contact. They will be most helpful to guide you to get the most information that you need. Talking about orders, can we send order with cash on delivery in euros? Is the invoicing process possible in euros while selling on MOL CZ? So let's first talk about what is mandatory and what is possible when talking about euros. For all markets that MOL is selling in, we require you to send us the information in local currency. So as you can see on the screen, for Hungary, it's I think the currency is called forints. For Czech Republic, it's Czech korunas. For Poland, it's zloty, and for Slovenia and Slovakia, you need to send us the prices in euros. At that moment, it is not dependent of the seat of your company, but it is really dependent on the selling country of MOL or Slovenia. We are talking not about MOL, but Mimolstia. So please focus on that. And it is not only that you need to use local currency, but it is also mandatory to use local VAT rates for your products, so that the invoicing is done properly. There it is up to you, or not up to you, but it is your responsibility to analyze local market and to know that your products are falling under one category of VAT rate in in the respective country. So please, when expanding from your home country to abroad, always focus on what rate your products are falling into and what is the correct conversion of the price in local currency. I think it is also a good moment to highlight that any prices that you are showing on the web are including tax. So please also focus on that one. I also added a short information what else needs to be localized except for prices. And excuse me, since I can see now that I have a little typo in the presentation, and also, of course, we are talking about VAT rates, not VAR rates. It is also mandatory to have all your text localized for the respective country, and not only that, but for some products it is also mandatory to have product manuals translated and product warnings translated according to like local legislation. So when expanding abroad, please also focus on that, because if such conditions would not be met, it might create a problem where, for example, a return is made by customer that he does not understand how to operate with product he or she bought. So that is something to look into when expanding from your home country. Let's go to the next slide, and here we are talking about order statuses, as I mentioned before. When talking about order statuses, you can see on the right side of the screen a little graphic that shows you from which status can an order status be moved to another one. The question itself was how to process an order. Why is the status of an order blocked? Does it mean customers did not pay? In general, the answer is yes, but also no. The blocked status can mean that the order was not paid yet, but it can also mean that if the customer has chosen, for example, one of the cash on delivery, not one of them, but of course, if he has chosen the only option of cash on delivery, at that point, we also need to process an order. So even for cash on delivery orders, it can take a short moment, and they can still be in a status blocked. So basically, status blocked means that we are still processing the order or we are still awaiting the payment. It is up to your decision if you want to create a reservation for a goods based on block statuses. We do not require it, but of course, such thing helps the customer experience, so that if, for example, opens upon arrival of payment in 3 days, the goods is reserved on your side. But as I mentioned, this is not mandatory. This is optional for you to do. Next status is status open. All orders that are ready to be processed by you change its status to open. If you have open order, it is really important to have a look not on the payment type of an order, but on the element cash on delivery. We create, or not create, but we prepare for you the complete information how much cash needs to be collected from a customer if the order is cash on delivery. The information includes not only the price of the product, but it also includes shipping costs. And for example, if you set a price for cash on delivery orders, it includes that fee as well. It's also important here to mention that this cash on delivery information also includes a possible discount that has been applied by a customer. Here, do not worry if you have an order with a discount. It is not something that would go from your wallet, but it is a coupon, let's say, that has been applied and generated by more for a customer, and this cash is given to you in the frequent, not frequent, but in the invoicing process. So any applied discount is not money you lose, but it is money you will of course get. From this open, you can or the customer can cancel an order, and this also applies to the status shipping that we will talk about a bit later. How to prevent the orders being canceled? I think the most common case or the reason why customers cancel an order is a long shipment time. So here I would recommend to try to improve the process of shipping an order to the best possible way, and also to set a realistic delivery delay for product. So that when the customer is shipping on the web, when they are on a product page, they know when to expect a delivery of an order. And this status, I think, is important here to highlight, is not only set by the customer, but in the status is open and shipping, you are also allowed to cancel an order for your specific reasons. Here, I would mention that according to the contract that you have signed, it is possible only to have up to 3% of your orders cancelled. So when canceling an order, please focus on the reasons and try to eliminate them so that you do not exceed this number. To finish talking about cancelled orders in your portal, you would see them as cancelled as well. But here it is mentioned as storno. That means that any order that after some time we did not receive a payment, we cancel those orders as well, so they do not stay blocked forever. So that we call in this diagram, we call storno, but in your portal you would see them as cancelled as well. Of course, orders cancelled by customers are not subject to this 3% that we were talking about. Let's move to shipping. Shipping status does not mean that the order is on its way, but it means that you are working with the order. So you are basically creating the package and doing all the necessary stuff for it to be given to the carrier. So shipping in this situation should be, let's say, a confirmation from you that you are working in an order with an order, and should be done quite short after the time that it has been changed to open by our system. It is also the first status that is required to you, that we require you to do, and our system does not do it, doesn't do it for you. When the package is ready and it has been given to the courier, please do not do it before. And I will just now tell you why. Is change the status to shipped. After you change the status to shipped, you are asked to fill in not only tracking number of the order, but also tracking link, basically the tracking information. It is something I mentioned a couple of slides ago. For us, it is mandatory information to have the information how the order is doing. So we require you to fill in this information. It is quite important to note here as well that there are a couple of situations that create exceptions for this structure, and one of the and maybe not one of the, but the only exception is if you are using more delivery. More delivery is a service that we make available for partners that are selling in Czech Republic or Slovakia. And one of the conditions is you also need to have a warehouse in these countries. For more details, please contact your business contact. They will gladly give you more. But why I'm telling you this is that for these cases, the flow is a bit different. If you are allowed to use more delivery and are using it, you, for example, do not insert tracking number, but our system does it for you. So here I would, if the conditions for you are applicable, I recommend you to use the more delivery, because I think it's quite good. Let's use this for a little commercial break for our services. But if you are not using more delivery, it doesn't end for you with the status shipped, but you also need to track the information about the order. And once it has been delivered, you need to set the delivered status, and you also need to insert the date of delivery. As I mentioned, it is the thing that our invoicing process is based on. If you would just go into it in a high level, if we are invoicing for a month, only orders delivered in that month are subject to the invoicing process. So that's why the date of delivery is the most important information during this. So please focus on it and set it shortly after delivery, and set it based on the truth about the date of delivery. The last two statuses we will talk about is return status and lost status. Lost status is only connected for more delivery orders and is set by our system. So that is only for your information if you are using more delivery. And the return status is a status that you use if an order that you have shipped has returned to your warehouse. Only an order that has been delivered is subject to an invoicing process. So any returned orders will create like let's say a payment that will go back to the customer if he has not picked up the order or the delivery was not successful. Let's move forward to next slide. And I think this will be the last slide from our presentation, and then we will move shortly to Slido. Is it possible to automate the process from receiving the order to being shipped through shipedge.com platform? Unfortunately, the answer currently is no, since we do not have a connection to ShipEdge platform. But in your portal, in the services menu on the left, you can browse through all our possible plugins and extensions and extension providers. So hopefully you will find something that can help you solve a situation that you are into. The offer is quite large right now, and we also, if you for example have used a provider of some plugin to connect to Mall, we always welcome more plugin providers to our platform. So please send us a recommendation. I would recommend to send it to your business developer or business contact, and we will move it forward to a company. And if their services are good, we will happily show them in this page as well. So again, please have a look at in your portal in the services tab, and then there have a look at what might help you. A couple of slides about how to work with the portal before we move to Slido. First is how to solve technical issues and how to solve them fast and effectively. In your portal, if you have a look on the menu on the left, on the bottom left corner, you see an FAQ button. If you use it, you get to a help center, and that is what you can see in the big 6 icons in the middle of the screen. If you have a technical issue, I suggest you use the button Technical Support, Products and Activation. There you can find a button for technical assistance. And from there are a couple of options, but for technical issues, please use for now a button Other Question, where you can specify what you are having problem with. And by using this flow, you make sure that your question comes to the hands and eyes of the most skilled person in said category, and hopefully it might help to solve your question as soon as possible. What can I tell you what we are working on right now, and it might help even more in this technical assistance option. We also want to create for you an option to specifically let us know about a technical problem and not only a question that you have, and hopefully this will be done by the end of the year. Let's go to next slide, and here we have a couple of tips how to help us solve your question as soon as possible. Basically, it expands on the information that we talked about on the last slide. Let's go through them in order. During your time at onboarding, include contact responsible for the technical part of your site in the conversation as soon as possible. Basically, what this means is we have quite a lot of experience with the communication being just like sent over to some IT that you are in contact with externally. But if you were to include this contact at the start of the onboarding process or the integration process, we believe that this might help to speed up and clear out most of the information. We also understand that, for example, you need to be in control of the process, but I think only communication with a responsible person does not require to do anything more and does not cost you anymore. So that is something that we recommend you to do. Second point is assign all roles for contacts and addresses in the context menu in the partners tab. I think we talked about the portal previously and the partner tab specifically, but there you have a contact for each of the roles. For example, it might be call center, it might be manager, it might be finances. And we look into this when we want to contact a specific person from your company. So please fill out all the addresses and all the roles there as soon as possible. Third point we have here is read our newsletter and other mass communication sent to stay connected with all important news and updates. I think each month we send a newsletter that contains any news and recommendations for upcoming time, and also if something is going up, for example, based on, I would, for example, mention the COVID situation where we were sending mass information about, for example, the VAT rates for respirators. So we send that in a mass email communication. So please also always read what we are sending to you in these emails, because it is most important to be up to date, so that, for example, you are meeting the conditions that is required by law. Number 4, visit frequently your portal and partners page on the web. You can find here lots of information facts like statistics, number of products in portal and on the web, etc. I think the point says it all. I think it is best, even if you are connected through some automatic type of connection, to go in the portal and check the logs of your feed, if you are using feed, or if you are using API, to check the partners page, how many products are visible there, so that you make sure that at all time the maximum number of products is visible on the web. And I think the statistics or a number of or the data are here. I think we understand each other. Point number 5, during any communication, always use your ID of company in MOL. That is either 4 or 6-digit code that you have been assigned, and will help us get the information faster and sooner. Well, this means that if you only write from your email and we need to look up which company is connected to it, it sometimes is not as automatic as it might seem. So if you include in the subject of your question your ID, it helps us to identify your company and also the speed of the solution of your problem. So I think that it's not much to ask, but it helps us a lot. So please include those numbers. Number 6, follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and use your knowledge base and be first to know all the updates and news. I think it's something I talked about in the previous points, but I will mention again. We have a YouTube channel where you will find a recording of this workshop, and in the future we would love to give you there manuals in English as well. So at least give yourself a follow, and I believe strongly that soon you will have some videos in English as well. On Facebook, we are sharing the news, so follow us there as well. And last, as I mentioned, is our knowledge base, when we give you articles about and new manuals for stuff that you are asking about. So those are the sources to follow. Number 7, always use a relevant contact for respective problem. I think if you are not using our help center, which I will recommend in the next point, always think about what is the nature of your question. So if you have a question that is connected to the sales of your products, contact your salesperson. If you have a question that is connected to processes, use your operations contact, etc. So do not send it to one, because when your question needs to be forwarded between couple of people, we can lose like precious time, and we can be still losing your money at that point. So please always send your question to the best person that needs to solve it. And closely connected to this is the number 8, and that is to use FAQ or help center as much as possible, because if you use help center and you send the information or the question using this on the back end, on the background, we analyze which scenario you went through, and we send the email automatically to the person that is responsible for that problematic. So it helps us to do the work for you. So if you insert your questions using the help center, I think that might help the solution of the ticket to be as fast as possible. And that is all for the first part of our presentation. Now let's have a 5 to 10 minutes break, and after that we will continue with the questions from Slido. So see you in 5 minutes. Welcome back. Allow me, and you will lose the screen for a second, and just allow me to switch to the Slido page, and we will move forward to the second part of our workshop, and that is questions from Slido. I just show you my face, and let's go. First question that we have here. Why is processing XML feed for products so slow? We have imported XML feed in the morning, circa 9:50, and it's still processing. By the way, there were only 2 products. That is not only connected to the size of the feed, but on the queues on the background as well. So the situation might be that that might be causing delay, and also if there's a problem in the feed, it might freeze the loading as well, and the system might not be able to show you the results of that synchronization at that given moment. But in our system, there is a process that kills the loading of the feed in 12 hours. So if you do not have a result until that time, it kills it at that point. What I would like to say here as well, that we are aware of this issue, and we are trying to improve the systems at all given times, but that is the current state. Let's move to the next question. Is it always possible to use manual editing? In general, no. It is connected to the chosen connection type. So if you have chosen API or XML feed, you are not able to edit the products manually. So it really depends on the chosen connection type. Where can I find category detail? And I will connect it to answer the next question as well about how categories are working in our system. You need to use 2 specific information when trying to sort a product into a specific category. We use a category ID, which is a combination of letters and numbers, and it is a code. And we use something that we are calling sorting parameters. You can find the details in the categories tab in your portal in the menu, or you can download the category tree from our knowledge base in Excel. And for each of the category, there is a combination of this code of category and a parameter. So we cannot do the sorting for you. You need to find the right category for your product, and then insert it in that category. Since the previous question was about manual editing, I will just go a little bit more detailed about manual creating of products and sorting to category. There we have a little help where on the first screen that will open for you when creating a product manually, you will see a category tree for the country that you want to list in, and there you can choose the category, and we will fill in the category code and the sorting parameters for you. So that is a little help that we have for all the manual input partners. For all the other connection types, you need to find the right category in the category tab or in the respective endpoint yourself and insert the data in the feed yourself. So hopefully this answers this question and in the next one as well. How can we add related items that need to be purchased next to an existing item? If we are talking about items that need to be purchased, I am not sure that the recommended products or related items are the best way how to list such product. Here I would recommend to create let's call it a package. In our system, it would be a product, but you would send information about both of them together. If it is required or they need to be purchased together, that is something I suggest, because the only other option is to create a recommended product. But as I mentioned, it doesn't really screen that the other part needs to be purchased together with the existing item. So this is something I would recommend to solve this issue. What to do in case we have our own delivery service and we do not have package tracking numbers like GLS? This is really a specific question that is connected to the nature of the goods that you are selling. So for this, I would suggest to take it out of this call and contact your business contact, and let's go through it in a more detailed discussion, because I think exception can be made, but under really specific conditions. So please write them and let's discuss it out of this call. Some questions I have asked before are not on this page listed. Will they be asked, or do I need to write them again? Me and my colleague went through the questions that were here before, sorry. And we know about one question that was not answered, so we will answer it later. But in general, all of the questions that were asked should be in the presentation that we went through. So if some of the questions was not here, please write it again. But I believe that we answered most of them in the presentation that we were looking at. Next question. In Mimovarsky, the contacts stored in Mall Partner Portal are not used. Financial emails are sent to main contacts, not financial contacts, and so on. Please improve. We will try to improve. And for this, if such situation arises, please write an email to operations@mallgroup.com, and our colleagues will try to fix that the emails are going to the wrong address on your site. So let us know in the email and we will try to fix it, and I apologize for the situation. Next one, how can I make such designed website in Mall Partner Portal, including backlink? If you were to open this link, it's a link that links to a product that is made by our first party. Unfortunately, it is not a sample that we can use how the products can look, because Mall and our first party creates the products in different systems and has different options for its formatting. So unfortunately, you cannot format a product like you are sending in the link, but I believe that using HTML text is quite rich format, so it is basically up to you how to use it. But as I mentioned, unfortunately, you cannot format it as a product that you are linking. Next question, merger with Allegro. Will this change in any way that Mall Partner Portal and already valid channels for invoices, etc.? If we are talking what will change during this As you or as you may know, the merger went through just a couple of days ago. So currently, what is being thought about is the business part of the thing, and the technical part of thing will come in place much later. If anything will change for you, we will of course give you an information and heads up quite a long time before anything actually changes. So I believe, and we all here believe, that this will lead to the higher quality of services that we are providing to you and the options that we make you available. So hopefully, if anything changes, it only changes to the good side. Last question, can I edit products manually if I have an XML feed? As I mentioned to an answer to one of the previous questions, no, it is not possible. If you have an XML feed, you can only edit and you are required to edit your products using this XML feed. How do you suggest to test XML feed import for products as your process can last for 12 hours? Validation with XSD is not enough. Here, when you were sent and if you were hand it over to onboarding, you are assigned a person that is there for you to consult with if something is not working properly. So it might shorten the time how to validate the feed and its structure and if it's working properly. If you do not have, if you have not been handed over to onboarding yet, I suggest going to a knowledge base where you can at least download an example of our XML feed, and the structure is there with all mandatory parameters. Without them, okay. Thank you for the follow-up answer. And if you already did, try to consult with our colleagues, because I think that is the most I can tell you right now, since I do not know the detail. And I hope that they will give you the answers that you need. So here I will give you a couple of more moments to write any more questions if you have any. In the meanwhile, I will repeat some of the things that I started the presentation with. First of them is that you will be sent the PDF version of this uh, of this uh, of this presentation to your email, and the recording of this workshop will be posted to our YouTube channel and available to you all in a couple of days. So please use the link that you will have in the presentation. And if no, so any HTML can be used for long description. Are there any limitations? Well, I don't want to say any HTML text, but we support most of the basic ones that are used for editing let's say a text or formatting of text. So if you were to find a look in the categories, I would suggest, for example, I think in any electronics categories, and you look for other sellers there, Mimoversity or more, you can find that the descriptions for products can be quite intriguing and interesting. So I think it is really up to you how you use the HTML text that are available. As I mentioned, we support most of the let's say basic and more advanced ones for the text editing. So feel free to test it on your products. So one more moment, if any of the questions, more questions comes back, I would here I would like to ask the person that asked if the question, or not asked, but mentioned that some of the question was not answered. I know that we did not answer in the presentation the question about the Mimoversity product, about the cables. So that is the one that I answered here. But if there are any more, feel free to write it now. And if not now, and you have any more questions, please write them using the. Thank you. So If you have any more questions, feel free to contact us using the help center, the FAQ, and hopefully if the interest will be in the future for repeating of this workshop, we'll be very glad to organize more of them for you as well. So this is all for me. So I thank you for your attention, and hopefully it will help you in your sales on Mall and Thank you. Goodbye.